Hey guys, AJ from Augment here. I wanted to provide some tips and updates around Augment Code, so let's get straight into it. All right, first up, this is something I think VS Code shipped. Previously with the extension, you could only take it about this far. It wouldn't really go full screen, but now you notice this icon here. We can now actually have a full screen Augment Code window, which is amazing, especially for me when I'm recording these videos. I like to have everything really big, so screen space is really important. Okay, so some of you may have noticed this button right here, ask a question. If you click this, it will go into this ask mode where you can ask a question about your code base and it won't make any changes to any files. It will just read the code base, use the context engine, and give you an answer. So typically you'd use this mode to ask a question about the code base. You don't want it to do any changes, and this should give you an answer a lot quicker than if you were to ask a question without using this mode. And you also could have the chance that it tries to edit some files. So let's just ask a question. Give me a detailed analysis on how keybinds work in this project. Okay, I also wanted to know whether this consumes a credit. So right now I'm on 59 credits available. Let's see. So at the moment, Augment only charges 1 credit per successful message sent. And you could really push this to the max with Augment's agent because it can run for quite a long time. So you can give quite a detailed prompt that requires a lot of feedback loops, and it could run for 30 minutes and only charge you 1 credit. But yeah, curious to see how this ask a question charges, because I'm pretty sure the enhanced prompt feature in Augment doesn't charge you a credit. So will this charge a credit? As we can see, it still does some very nice context gathering here. It's called the context engine 3 times and then read a couple files. And here we go. Here is the answer that we asked for. Detailed analysis on the keybind system. Okay, that finished. Let's see. Did that cost a credit? 59 before. Refresh that. 58, yes. So the ask a question does consume 1 credit, as I suspected. One other thing that I think not many people know about is Augment Code can render mermaid diagrams within the extension, and that can be really helpful, not only for people like me. I'm a very visual learner, especially when it comes to flows between various components. There's no real nice way to do that in text. Versus a diagram. So we could always prompt the agent to do something like this. Create a mermaid diagram which shows the flow, examples of how potential keybinds would work. So I've just used the ask question to create a mermaid diagram, and now Augment Code should actually be able to create and render this inside the chat window here. Let's see. But yeah, as I was saying, not only is this very helpful for us humans to visually understand things, but mermaid diagram, the actual text underneath it, can be very beneficial for LLMs as well, as it's just like code. LLMs can pass these very well and get an understanding, which would maybe traditionally take reading multiple files and, gathering the relationships through reasoning. Whereas with a mermaid diagram, that's all rendered out for you here. And you can see here, this is the actual render of the mermaid diagram. This one was quite long. We could have asked for a maybe simpler version, but you can see here all the different states and the legend and different examples here. Custom shortcut, Control Shift R. So yeah, this maybe wasn't the best diagram, but you get the idea. Like, just having this diagram within the editor can be really helpful, because not only can Augment render this, but these mermaid diagrams can also be pushed to GitHub, and the GitHub can also show these. So I'm going to just show you that real quick with a new agent mode. We need to implement the contribution markdown file. Currently it's empty. We want to provide the best amount of info succinctly to new developers so they can onboard quickly. I think we should have different levels of high-level mermaid diagrams, to show the flow for UI, as well as components, as well as interactions, user flows, etc. So yeah, hopefully this will now, have all that data and the diagrams within this markdown file contributing contributing.md, which is kind of like a standard, I think, in GitHub. So when new users come, they can actually see how to onboard very quickly and give us a higher chance that people will contribute to this open source project. Okay, Augment finished that, created the high level architecture and contributing docs. Let's have a look. Nice. There we go. See, this is the kind of diagrams I was talking about. This is very nice and high level. We even got a flow diagram here, project structure, and we can push this straight onto GitHub. Let's do that now. Nice. And here we go. It's in the actual contributing section in the repository now with all the nice diagrams. So hopefully people can onboard a little bit faster.